During his first address to Congress, President Trump made 61 statements in total. Now, fact checkers deemed 51 of those statements to be false. 51. So the vast majority of the things he said were untrue. Now, for example, he stated during his address to Congress that it was foreigners that were coming to the United States and committing terrorist attacks, but that's actually not true. It's actually domestic right-wing extremists who are the ones carrying out the most terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. For example, sovereign citizens. That's a movement that has carried out an abundance of terrorist attacks on the United States. They've killed police officers. Yet, he's contending that foreigners are the ones who are the biggest threat. No, if you want to know who the biggest threat is, you need to look within the United States, because we are the ones who are disproportionately killing each other. Now, out of all the things that he explicitly lied about, there was one portion that I think is not getting enough attention that is really devastating, and it was subtle. So during his speech, he signaled that he would be gutting Medicaid. So The Intercept explains, Trump did call for something specific that Republicans desperately want and that is completely feasible: brutal cuts to Medicaid. Of course, Trump didn't put it like that. Instead, he said we should give our great state governors the resources and flexibility they need with Medicaid to make sure no one is left out. That sounds nice, but it's standard Republican code for attacks on Medicaid. In fact, it's lifted almost word for word from Paul Ryan's A Better Way plan for Medicaid, which states that we believe states and individuals should have better tools, resources, and flexibility to find solutions that fit their unique needs. Moreover, both during the campaign and afterward, Trump has endorsed the standard GOP plans for Medicaid. What this would mean in practice is twofold. First, the federal government would significantly reduce spending on Medicaid. Medicaid is run by individual states, but currently, the federal government pays a fixed share of each state's costs, which rise during recessions or due to any number of unforeseeable events. Republicans have long wanted to change the funding mechanism to one in which the federal government pays only a fixed amount per Medicaid beneficiary, called a per capita cap, or a fixed amount per state, called a block grant, with states responsible for paying anything past that. This would result in larger and larger cuts over time. Most GOP plans would permanently fix federal spending on Medicaid based on a future year, and then only increase the fixed amount annually at the rate of inflation, even though medical costs consistently rise faster than inflation. Second, if Trump gets his way, states will receive waivers to change Medicaid in various ways that would be both cruel and require nightmarish bureaucracies to enforce. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker wants to drug test Medicaid recipients. In Kentucky, Governor Matt Bevin hopes to make beneficiaries without dependents work and pay premiums. Worst of all, states such as Arizona are attempting to enact lifetime 5-year limits on Medicaid coverage, which could be a death sentence for people with diseases like cancer. And make no mistake about it, if this comes to fruition, which it very plausibly could because Republicans control both houses in Congress, this would be a complete disaster. I mean, Medicaid saves the lives of people who are not able to afford insurance. And if you take that away, if you gut Medicare and you change it in any way that makes people less likely to receive Medicaid who need it, this is a death sentence for people. I mean, think about what they're talking about here. A 5-year cap on Medicaid to say, well, we've paid for your chemotherapy for 5 years, so now we're going to cut you off because you met your lifetime cap. This is something that is immoral. This is not something that we should be fighting any party for. Everyone as human beings should be able to empathize with other human beings and realize, look, I'm in favor of protecting my fellow human beings. I don't want anyone to die because they don't have access to healthcare. And if you gut Medicaid like Donald Trump is alluding to here, that's what's going to happen. So Donald Trump likes to talk about, boosting our national security and protecting Americans and being the country of law and order. But if you can't even protect Americans from dying because they don't have health insurance, what the hell kind of scumbag government are you? This is proof that we are not a compassionate society. We are an immoral society where we think profits are more important than people. And I think that the American people deserve better than this. So we really need to take all of these little cues here and decode what Republicans are saying, because what they're saying is subtle. They know that Medicaid is a very popular program, so that's why they do these things subtly. They speak in coded terms. It's very Orwellian because they want to make sure that we don't get the drift that they're trying to actually gut Medicaid. Well, we're vigilant, and we're going to stay vigilant, and we're going to watch you guys because you assholes are not going to screw over the American people and get away with it. You've tried it, and we continue to show up to town halls and hold you accountable, and that's not going to stop. If you touch Medicaid, If you make it so that way less American citizens are able to live because they can't afford health insurance, we're going to call you out and there will be hell to pay. Believe that.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.